When I was growing up, I didn't have a choice also. That's our generation,
Really?
diba? One time was when I was doing my clerkship in the US, fourth year med school. I talked to him. I said, "Dad, can I just take masterals and I'll just be an architect?" He didn't talk to me for 6 months. So until I finally relented, then I became doctor again. My allowance, one of the smallest sa batch namin. I would actually return the bottles of my classmates to the canteen and get the deposit. And they keep it to myself kasi my rich classmates, you return the bottle, you keep the deposit.
Yeah.
I would
Sino
do
ba
that
yung mga mayayamang classmates na yan?
Secret. Secret.
But you were also mayaman.
I just didn't know it. Yeah.
That was the perception that, wow, you swept Donna off her feet. You're from this wealthy family. Yung pala, mas malaki pang kita sa'yo noon.
Yes, yeah. The first 5 years. Yeah. So good thing naman about her, she will never make you feel insecure. Yeah, that's a good trait.
Did you though? Did you?
Yeah, of course, to start.
Si Potenciano Yong Larrazabal III, bukod sa pagiging eye surgeon, ang namamahala sa Cebu Doctors Group of Hospitals. Siya din ang kauna-unahang Pilipino na nakatapos sa World Marathon Challenge kung saan tinakbo niya ang 7 marathon in 7 continents in 7 days. Pero ang pinakamatindi niyang marathon ay ang pagpapatakbo sa 7 ospital. Dr. Yong dreams of building 3 more, the last of which will be a full charity hospital. Truly, a man with a vision. Kilalanin natin si Dr. Potenciano Yong Larrazabal III dito lamang sa Usapang Bilyonaryo. Why run? What is it that fascinates you?
First of all, I'm a surgeon, so my hands are very important. My first love was actually basketball. So 5 years into my practice, when I started to get busy, I needed something to de-stress. So I started playing basketball again, and then I accidentally injured my my small finger. Yeah, so I realized if I injured more critical fingers like the thumb or the middle finger, then it would be very difficult to operate. So I had to look for a sport that didn't use much of my arms, elbows. So running, I found running, and at that time, running was starting, to get popular here in Cebu.
Oh, so it's still connected to the profession in a way.
Yes, it is. And then I realized that while running, now I can run the treadmill, my mind wanders off. I get all my ideas from running. I can sleep better at night. I run 10 kilometers a day, every day.
Every day?
Every day, yeah.
Also, aside from that, it keeps you healthy.
Yes, it keeps me healthy, fit, and I can eat whatever I want, more or less. When I get home, I have dinner with the kids, my wife, and after I exercise, then I go to bed after.
Oh, so very regimented rin,
Yes, my life is very regimented, very structured. Yeah.
Why?
That's how I was raised, and I have my dad was like that. We're both workaholics. I do surgeries every day, eye surgeries like cataract surgeries, and I do several refractive surgeries, LASIK and smile surgeries once a week. I see patients every day. Then I allot 2 hours for running the hospitals that I manage now, since my dad passed away.
The regimentation comes from the many things you have to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
It all started when in high school that my parents always told us and stressed the importance of good grades. So I always make the point to study hard, and I got into med school, and I studied even harder. So for me, I place it in my mind that there's always a time for everything. There's a time to enjoy, there's a time to study, which you will need later in the future, which actually made a lot of sense because to get into ophthalmology, you have to get good grades in med school, to get high scores during the board exams, which I did. And fortunately, I got accepted to UPPGH for my ophtha training, which is the best training institution in the country right now for eyes.
From the very start, you were disciplined. I
Yes.
mean, growing up. You
Yes.
saw that from your father.
My father's a workaholic. He's in here 7:30, goes home just before dinner every day. He started with one hospital, he ended up with 6, and then he made a university as well, then expanded with so many colleges.
You're third generation.
Second,
Second pala. But
I'm
you're Potenciano the
the
third.
third. Second generation doctor.
Doctor.
Yeah, but third generation Potenciano.
So, is the burden heavy to be able, I mean, your dad was so accomplished, achieved so much in his lifetime. Do you feel the need to outdo him or, ensure that the legacy lives on?
Well, the first thing he told us was get your own specialty, get your own practice, and then work to create a name for yourself. And then when the time comes, you'll be ready. No? So, but he required us to be doctors to manage the hospitals. No? Doctor, which makes sense now because I understand how the patients are, their needs, and I can communicate better with the other fellow doctors. No? Unlike if you're a businessman running a hospital.
But what about the management expertise? Because not all doctors can manage a big organization like yours. Where did you get the managerial capability?
As soon as I started practicing ophthalmology, he made sure that I'd be a board member in all our hospitals. No? So I attend the monthly board meetings. No? And there I saw him at work, his ideas, and then how he talks to people, how he adjusts the rates, how he gets new equipments, how he negotiates. So that I was learning silently on the side while I was practicing. So when he passed away suddenly, 2017, so initially I got sick several times, which I don't normally get sick, no? But with all these things coming in,
The responsibility.
I got sick, I think 3 or 4 times in that year, and then after the second year, now it's 5 years already, then everything's smooth already. No? I managed to put everything in place, hire the right people, talk to the right people. So now we have a corporate team already. Now we just opened a hospital last year in Bohol, and we plan to open another hospital soon, which the corporate team handles that with under my supervision, of course.
So it's really about being able to hire a professional team. I think the challenge is to be able to multiply yourself, no?
Yes, yes. Although I like to micromanage, but it's impossible. You can't do that. You won't have a life anymore.
Yeah.
So you have
So
to
you've
have
learned to let go or to trust.
trust, yeah. Not let go because it's part of me.
Where do you draw the
details.
line?
I draw the line when, example, like I used to visit the hospitals almost every week, in different hospitals every week. No? And I noticed that I don't have time anymore for my family. You know? So no time for running was less, which I realized is not good for my health. If I want to stay longer in this business, I have to allot time and if I want my kids to know me and respect me, I have to spend time with them as well.
You have 3 kids.
Yes.
And are you giving them the freedom to choose what profession they want, or there must be one doctor among the 3?
Well, when I was growing up, I didn't have a choice also. That's our generation,
Really?
diba? We follow what our parents want, and he showed us this. He brings us here every day. When we were kids, after school, we wait for him here. So we're exposed.
Okay.
And then,
You learned to love it.
yes, I learned to love
You
it.
didn't feel that it was imposed on you.
Well, at one point, because my first love is drawing. I wanted to be an architect.
Really?
Yeah, so one time was when I was doing my clerkship in the US, 4th year med school. I talked to him. I said, Dad, can I just take masterals and I'll just be an architect? He didn't talk to me for 6 months. So until I finally relented, then I became a doctor again. But the specialty, he let me decide. So when I rotated in PGH and I rotated in ophthalmology, I saw the surgeons, how they operate. So ophtha was like my art to me. The daily surgeries became my art of passion, doing that surgery every day. It's like drawing, diba?
How?
It's microsurgery through a microscope. So when you're doing the incisions, you're removing the cataract, putting the lens, that's a form of art already.
Did that answer my question? So that means you're gonna require one of your kids
Yeah.
to follow in your footsteps.
My dad has 11 grandkids. Okay, we're 4 siblings. 10 of the 11 are going into medicine. Wow. Yeah, so that's a very pretty big influence. No? I think 2 have already passed the board exams. And then there are 4 now in medical school, and the others are in pre-med. So my daughter now is 2nd year med school, the eldest. The second
already?
Yeah, the second.
Wow, you don't look it, ah.
The second is pre-med, BS Bio, and the youngest is high school. So the 3 are going into med school. Hopefully they will follow me, ophthalmology, but I'll let them decide for themselves what specialty they want.
So the choice of ophthalmology is because you saw how they were operating, and you already saw the artistic part of it.
Yes.
I guess you have to be very delicate, no?
Yes.
That's where.
Delicate, and you have to have good hands, no? Steady hands. And you also have to be gutsy, because any wrong move, you get the patient blind, no? Which is not, to most people cannot.
Yeah. I mean, that's
life already.
It can make you very nervous.
Yes.
You have to be very confident in your ability.
Especially when we operate on patients with just one eye left, for some reason, like trauma or the damage in one eye, then the patient has one eye left, so the pressure is double when you have to do surgery on that one eye of that patient.
And your track record, of course, is 100%.
No, only God is 100%. So it's up high 90s, because nobody's perfect.
No wonder you really need to de-stress, no? In your hands lies the life or death of a patient, no?
Well, it depends also on the doctor. There are doctors who limit their practice also. They cut, they see, I want to see 5 patients a day. You can actually do that if you're in private practice. It's different if you're in government service, then you have to see patients this certain number of hours.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm the type who wants to do a lot of surgeries, and I want to help as much patients as I can. No? So that's why I try to accommodate.
So part of your practice, is it charity?
One of the important things that my dad relayed to us is always do your part, no, as far as charity is concerned. So all our hospitals have charity services. And in our main hospital, I'm the chairman of the Department of Ophthalmology, which we have a very good charity foundation. No? So we have residents training here as well. So we make sure that all the consultants rotate, operating pro bono cases, no? And then supervised well, and then assisted by residents who are in training. So we have charity programs here.
Do you still do pro bono operations, or you train your residents who will eventually be doing?
No, we rotate.
You rotate, even you are part
Even
of the
consultants,
rotation?
yes. And then once in a while, we join missions. Like we have a mission in Bantayan next year, so I'm going to do charity work there as well. And automatic also, all charity patients in our hospital gets 35% discount on all services.
So this has been handed down to you by your father. It's really one of the principles of all your hospitals.
Yes.
Perhaps that's the reason why you're so blessed. That you know how to give back.
Yes. He always told us we have to give back. And if a patient asks for discount, always give a discount. And then if, like me, I'm in private practice now, then I see patients who really need my help, then I just let them, I just operate the patient, tell them to just pay later when able. If there's really a need.
Yeah. Money is not, of course, for a doctor, that's not really the primary motivation of why you...
I believe kasi, if you really love your work, it will show how you talk to the patient. You'll say, oh, this doctor really cares of my well-being. And money will follow Money will just follow.
I believe the same thing.
But if your goal is money, and then you convince the patient, oh, you have surgery now, it shows that you're pushing it. Diba? But if the well-being of the patient is...
It's primordial.
Yes.
Yeah.
And money will follow. You don't have to worry about it. That's what I always tell our students in med school. Sometimes I give lectures also. Just love your work. Choose a specialty that, you wake up, you're excited to work. Rather than you have to pull yourself out of bed, and then it shows that you're grumpy. You get mad at patients, you scream at them. So, it's not good.
But that could have been you if you did not embrace what your father wanted, di ba?
True. That's true, yeah.
Because di ka lang kinausap ng anim na buwan ba?
Yeah, 6 months in the States.
That was a turning point in your life, huh? I mean, you could have done your father's will grudgingly and hated every minute of it. But you found a way to love it.
Yes. I believe parents know best, diba? They have the experience behind them, and they know that there's a hospital here waiting for you. I mean, the opportunity is there, and then there's so many specialties. You can make it tailor-made to your personality, the specialty.
So how did you get your children interested?
Same thing that my dad did. Exposure.
From school, they also hang out here?
They hang out here, but not, of course, every day. But I always talk about what I do. I show them. The 3 of them have been to my surgeries. I've operated already my eldest daughter for surgery for the eyes. She used to wear very thick glasses. My wife, I did surgery on already. And both my parents.
All the fans of Dawn are were crestfallen when you took her away from us. What does she get involved in? Is she also involved in the family? I wouldn't even say business, like calling, no mission.
My clinic is small, which I like kasi I can see patients faster.
On the average, how many patients do you see in a day?
Oh, close to 100.
What?
Yeah, so I have to start very early.
Nagpapakonsult po ako for LASIK screening if I will be eligible for a LASIK procedure. Dr. Yong is very known as a specialist po for LASIK. So, he's very competent, napaka-informative. So, panatag na panatag po ako.
The doctor's handling me is Doc Yong Larrazabal, and I came here for an eye screening for Smile Pro. It's really good, it's really accommodating, and they're really hands-on with the procedure, and they tell me everything I wanted to know.
Right here behind your chair is like, is that the crest of the...
Yeah, the Larrazabals.
Oh, okay.
From Basque.
From Basque. But your family is originally from Ormoc.
Yes. My great-grandfather was a stowaway from Spain. And then, like the rest of the Spanish, like Aboitises and Irastorces, they landed in Leyte. And then they met their future wives there, natives of Leyte.
It was really an agriculture-based at first, the start of the family's wealth, I would say.
Pineapples, sugar, mostly sugar.
And then later on, is the branch of your family that turned to medicine.
No, actually, there's 7 siblings, my dad.
Okay.
All wanted to be farmers like my grandfather, no? Kasi rice at the time, I mean sugar at the time, the sugar boom yun, it's 50s, 60s, 70s. And then, since my dad, according to my lolo, was the smartest, he said he wants a doctor in the family. Just so that
Your lolo?
to take care of them. He sent my dad to UST to study, med school. And then, from there, he met my mom, who was the president of the Supreme Student Government in UST. And then, after he graduated, he wanted to get married. Now, my grandfather didn't allow. So, nag-elope sila. They went to the States. He stayed trained in gastro. And then, they didn't speak for 5 years with my grandfather. So, when he came back after training, he was supposed to apply in Makati Med. He started to buy shares na. And then they became okay na my grandfather. My grandfather said, just come to Cebu because...
Pinatawad na siya.
Yeah. Cebu is the hangout of the mga sugar planters from Leyte because it's close and then the weather's better daw. So he placed up the funds for Cebu Doctors. So he became the president at 29 years old.
Your father.
My father.
But it was your grandfather
Sugar.
who bankrolled the hospital.
Yes. I think 12 years they're planning, but no one would put up the capital for the hospital. So it was until my grandfather placed in the capital that we started here.
But as I said, as a doctor doesn't necessarily have the skill to run a business.
Yes.
Yeah. How did your father learn? Kasi if you learn from your father, saan siya natuto?
They call him man with the golden touch. Kasi whatever he touch, he's very lucky with these things.
You think luck lang yun?
Yeah, and also he's very thrifty. So he doesn't like borrowing money. Like saving. When we were growing up, I didn't even know now we had money.
Really?
Yeah.
How come? Wala kang allowance?
We'd always go together, and then para save gasoline.
Para tipid.
Yeah, and then he would only turn on the aircon if it's really hot. And then,
even if you were already prosperous.
Yeah, the hospital was here already.
Yeah.
My allowance, one of the smallest sa batch namin. I would actually return the bottles of my classmates to the canteen and get the deposit. And they keep it to myself kasi my rich classmates, you return the bottle, you keep the deposit. I would
Sino ba yung mga mayayamang classmates na yan?
Secret.
But you were also mayaman.
I just didn't know it. Yeah.
It's not that your father impressed upon you that you had this money.
Yeah, no.
I wonder what it was. He wanted you to have that value, to be thrifty also like him, or what was it?
He said the thing he hated the most when he was like 10 years old, he was already sent to Cagayan, Ateneo de Cagayan, to study already. So that young an age, he learned that the trait of saving money and planning things, how to fit the budget. But the drawback was he was away from his family.
But then this time he wanted his family close to him.
Yes.
He wanted a more closer bond.
Yes, we have lunch every Sundays. And then, as much as possible, he wanted us to study here, high school and pre-med, because it makes sense. If you study, eventually you'll meet your partner, di ba? When you study college.
Okay.
And then, if you meet the partner in the US, then you'll eventually
never
come
come back.
Yeah, di ba? It's like that. Except my wife lang, because I met her in a blind date during a convention in Manila. But the rest of my siblings, the partners are all from here.
Well, but you brought her here.
Yeah.
All the fans of Don are were crestfallen when you took her away from us.
I'm sure.
What does she get involved in? Is she also involved in the family? I wouldn't even say business, like calling, mission.
Donna loves to sing. That's her it's really her first love.
Yeah.
So she still made a couple of albums. I actually produced the last album. No?
You did?
Yeah, I did. And then it did also quite well. No? And then she has this singing engagements. No? She had a concert, a Valentine's concert here in Cebu as well. There was this telenovela that she was supposed to do in Manila. But fortunately, it was locked down for 3 months. No? So we both agreed that 3 months lockdown away from the kids is too much. So, but I actually allow her. No?
Did you say fortunately there was a lockdown? You gave yourself away!
It was a nice one, nice role. No romantic. Ate lang siya ba, ate?
Binabantayan mo mga roles. It has to have your approval.
Yeah, because syempre we have children and to be wholesome.
None of the children ever wanted to follow in the footsteps of their mama.
No, but all of them can sing.
Yeah.
Especially the youngest, they sing very well. I can't sing, so.
I was about to ask.
Yeah, no, not at all. Our family, the whole Larrazabal, we don't sing.
Baka you haven't tried lang.
No, I tried. I tried.
You
Duet pa. Pero wala talaga.
Wala talaga. So you leave that to your wife.
Yeah. Si Donna kasi worked at 8 years old. She started singing. So she was burned out. 8, 9, then she had so many movies, di ba?
Yeah.
So she wanted to raise a family right away. And she said, it's a good thing daw na she was here. Because if she was still in Manila, the offers still would keep coming ba?
And she would probably not be able to say no?
Yes, because like during the start of my practice, I only had 1 or 2 patients a day. And then she was at the height, no? So obviously she's earning a lot
Mas
more.
malaki kesa sa'yo.
Yeah, of course. And if we were
But
based
you're from the Larrazabal family.
we're not like that. We have to work. We're not given. Like
Walang mga parang sustento ng pamilya.
we have to work on our own. Like the first place we lived in was the condo of my parents, which
You were sharing?
No. He let us stay. They let us stay on their condo, rent free. Pero it wasn't given to us. When I saved enough to make my own house, I move out, and the condo is
To them.
To
It's
them.
still theirs.
Yes.
So hindi yung parang you're not the boy with the silver spoon in the mouth.
No, that's what people think. but-
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Actually, that was the perception that, wow, you swept Donna off her feet. You're from this wealthy family. Yung pala, mas malaki pang kita sa'yo noon.
Yes. Yeah. The first 5 years. Yeah.
So, how was that?
Yeah.
She sacrificed also.
Yeah.
Did you bar her from doing movies, or that was her choice?
That was her choice because after the first year lang, she got pregnant na eh.
Okay.
And then sunod-sunod na. But in between, I joined her concerts in Japan, in Australia.
Yeah.
Ako yung alalay niya. Yeah. So good thing naman about her, she will never make you feel insecure. Yeah, that's a
And
good trait.
did you though?
Hmm?
Did you?
Yeah, of course, to start.
So what was the turning point? When did your practice start to prosper?
And then, did you feel any pain? Wala, di ba? Wala. No pain, no.
Pressure I expected, wala.
Wala.
Kahit kanina din, sir. Yeah.
When the machine was docking. It's very gentle, yung machine.
So what was the turning point? When did your practice start to prosper?
There were a lot of new technologies kasi na I was one of the first who started in Cebu. No? Like when cataract used to be, when you do cataract surgery, the patient goes to sleep, di ba? General anesthesia. And then they transition into injecting around the eye anesthesia. Then when I started here, I was one of the first, started eye drops lang anesthesia. And then the patient just stands up, can see right away. And then we brought in the first of its kind LASIK machine here in Cebu after 3 or 4 years. So that was a breakthrough as far as people who wanting to get rid of their eyeglasses already.
Right.
So I attracted a lot of Visayas, Mindanao patients right away.
And then Donna she was already raising your kids,
Yes.
so she didn't do much concerts anymore. And
Yeah. And
so in the beginning, are you saying she had to do that because, she had to contribute to the...
No naman. I never pressured
Hindi
her.
naman mukhang parang naghihirap naman kayo.
No. She actually was so happy because she has the freedom na to choose.
To say no.
Yes.
To what she
Unlike
doesn't
before, she has to accept everything.
So you came at a perfect time in her life also, no?
Yeah.
Because you said she was feeling burnt out.
Yeah. Feeling burnt out, and then the roles were becoming more and more mature, which she wasn't comfortable with. She's a very wholesome na lady.
Ayaw niya ng mga medyo revealing.
Yeah, yun. I was actually her first boyfriend.
You didn't even know who you were dating?
Both of us, blind date. Kasi
Who set that up?
I went to Manila for convention.
Okay.
My co-resident, si Arnold Salud, his wife used to work in J. Walter Thompson. And then they were producing at that time the Lux commercial, the new Lux girl. The first date namin, kasama si Arnold and si Ginge and si Lani. And then Donna and the 2 cousins. Because her parents were very strict also. She had to be chaperoned.
Did you know you were dating this famous...
I knew it because whoever Ginge sets up with me, pretty kasi models or commercial model. So I was ready. I know my date's going to be, very beautiful.
It was instant attraction, syempre.
Yeah, I believe so. On my part, yeah. Then siya naman, because we spoke on the phone several times. And
Well, we have to ask her that.
So I was based in Cebu na, no? So I had to come to Manila 10 straight weekends. So Friday from the clinic, I change in the car, go to the airport, and then after that, go there, visit, and then Monday early morning, go straight to the clinic. Grand Air pa yun. Grand Air pa kasi it's the cheapest at the time.
You've come a long way, huh?
Yeah.
From your pagtitipid to now.
The cheapest hotel, the cheapest airline.
10 weekends, and then you won her heart
Until
already.
she said yes. So.
10 weekends lang.
Quality over quantity.
Tell me about this one naman. This is the car enthusiast in you, of course.
Yeah, of course, one of my favorite brands, Ferrari. So I made sure I got this antique na steering wheel. Then this is an F1 steering wheel of Ferrari also. And then an exhaust of a 458 Italia exhaust. Just place lights inside. That's the artistic side of me. My grandfather bought those for me. So I kept it talaga. I love cars.
Yeah. Ano ba dito yung meron ka?
These are my 3 favorite cars that I currently have.
All these you have?
Yeah, same colors.
Same colors?
Exactly the same.
Because, you've really been so successful. You know also how to enjoy life. Like you said, it has to be a balance. When did your love for cars begin? Was your father ever,
No.
No.
I used to love cars since I was grade 1. So I would draw all my dream cars. I like drawing.
Yeah, all right.
So all the dream cars that I drew before, I slowly got them one by one until I got all my dream cars ready.
Wow.
So I'm done already with the car
Ilan
aspect.
yan? So you're done with that.
Yeah, I'm done with that.
It's really running now that really
Yes.
thrills you, no?
Yeah, running, expanding the business, helping more people. Just the last week we opened our first diagnostic center, which is outpatient, and it's the cheapest in Cebu. I made sure that it's the cheapest. Everything, there's a portal, so the results will be, the patients can go home, then check after 2 hours, and they'll see the results in the portal.
So you also have the touch, the Midas touch of your father, no?
Oh, swerte, swerte, yeah. Well, swerte, swerte. And then, of course, I plan to build a charity hospital eventually na free lahat. So that will be my 10th. Then I plan to stop na with 10, then maybe the next generation can expand na the number of hospitals.
That will be your 10th hospital.
The charity hospital.
What's the timetable for that?
Probably within 5 years siguro. Kasi I'm going to make number 8 pa, and then 9. And then the 10th.
Nasa 7 ka pa lang, pinaplano mo na yung 10.
Yeah. During my installation, 2017, I outlined all my plans. Top 20 plans. Then a lot of doctors were skeptical. How can this guy make all of this? New building here, property here for hospital, Bohol. And fortunately, mga 15 of those 20,
You've done na.
I've done already.
And that was just 5 years ago,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Are you a man in a hurry? Or, I mean...
I'm just a man who wants to get things done right away. I don't dilly-dally. I want it done, and people around me know that. So when I want things done, it has to be done. I'll do everything for it to be done. This is the medals per continent. No? So after each continent, like in Africa, which was held in Cape Town, they give you the medal, then we float to Antarctica, then Australia, and then Asia, Dubai. Europe was in Spain, and South America was in Brazil, and then last was in Miami, North America. So that's what I wore during the marathon challenge.
I thought you had a clothing store. Eto?
Yeah.
And then...
And then that's the shoes that has spikes, no? Kasi it's ice.
Ito ba yung sinasabi mong, you felt really cold?
Yeah, really cold. Kasi I underestimated, I only bought 1 pair of gloves. You need at least 2 or 3. So these are the actual shirts that I wore per continent. Oh. South Africa, Europe. So it's long sleeves kasi malamig sa Europe. Sa Brazil naman, t-shirt lang.
Worthy of a museum.
So all my 71 marathons, I've never quit a single marathon. I've always finished.
Were there times when you
Of course,
yeah.
yes.
Always, no? I suppose.
The weather, di ba? Different marathons, different weather, different conditions. Antarctica was so cold. I ran in the beach na my feet were sinking pala kasi sand. I
So
didn't
it was
prepare for that. You're just
difficult.
double the effort. I've had cramps on several marathons, which I couldn't walk. But fortunately, someone comes along and massages me, and I could recover. No.
What was the toughest?
The toughest was probably in Antarctica during the World Marathon Challenge because instead of using 3 layers, I was only down to 2 layers. It's my second Antarctica, so I was pretty confident. The weather was really bad. I only wore 1 gloves. Usually you should wear 2, so my hands were freezing. So I was worried about my hands whether
Can you
this is
imagine
starting
kung
to stick.
naano ka?
Yeah, that's why.
What do you call that? Frostbite?
Yes.
Your hands!
Yeah, so I was planning
Your
to stop
precious
na.
hands.
I was planning to
Okay.
stop, and then my third jacket was the civilian jacket. I used it lang because it was too cold. Fortunately, my civilian jacket had zippers, so I placed my hands inside. So that one
So
saved
that
me
kept you going.
going.
Otherwise, you would have stopped.
Possibly because my hands were stiff already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yun,
Yeah, I need
ito
my
pa
hands.
naman ang pinagkakaingatan mo, di ba?
Yeah.
Why do you have to aim for 100, right? You
Yes.
said? And you have run how many?
71. The other day in Taiwan, yeah. That's my 71st.
That was your 71st,
Yeah.
just recently.
2 days ago, yeah.
Okay. How was that?
It was tough because it's 6:30 in the morning. It was so hot. It was very hot. I partially dehydrated, but I managed to finish. Yeah.
Yeah, why put yourself, why aim so high?
Because I believe Life should be goal-oriented. If you don't have goals, you will not work hard or put much effort into reaching your goals. You just be laid back and you would eventually slow down, deteriorate. So you have to have goals with life. Like
So there's always something to achieve. There's this something that puts you in the right direction, I
yes,
suppose.
luck and a lot of planning. Especially when I courted si Donna.
Sige, sige,
There were a lot of there were a lot of suitors.
May plano din yon? May game plan, ganon?
Oh, well, there was an action star, there was a politician, and then top politician.
Madami kang karibal.
Yeah, and then there's mga businessman. One thing, very, very funny story. She played Liesel in Sound of Music. No? So, during the second date, so I watched, she invited me to watch her. No? So I stopped by Shangri-La, and then there's flower shop. I bought this flower. No? One lang. It's 700. Isa. 700. If you're Cebu, that's really expensive. So, okay, I kept it muna, I watched her. Then I went to the dressing room. So her dressing room was filled with flowers from one businessman. And then I had flower.
Okay.
But she appreciated the flower.
So marami siyang binasted for you.
I don't know. I can't say. I can't say.
Was
But
the wedding immediate after, she said yes, you were engaged?
we were engaged after 4 months already. No? The plan actually was to be engaged after a year pa.
How did you propose?
It's so funny nga kasi it's very it's not romantic at all. It was in the phone
On the phone?
Yeah, because I didn't expect her to say yes. Eh.
So kaya sa telepono na lang?
No.
Okay.
It was just like, if I ask you to marry me now, kasi we're talking about, mga things na going on, na she's tired and everything. So, it was like a follow-up ba nga? If I ask you to marry me now, then wala ka ng stress. You don't have to deal with so much. Would you say yes? O nag-yes siya? Doon. So, it's parang, it wasn't planned at all.
It wasn't planned. It was just like a conversation.
Yeah, because I wanted something romantic,
Yeah.
diba? Na parang
Ang corny mo
magluluhod,
naman.
wala. So, yun na, naging ganun na. Unplanned talaga siya.
And now you looking back, your life is good, right?
Yeah, we're going into our 25 years na. Wedding anniversary next year as well.
I just wanted to ask you, kasi when people knew that I was coming to interview you or after, sabi nila, hindi ba nakagapos si Dawn? Yung parang there are all these talk about, I don't know, you're hiding her or whatever. Would you like to address that?
What do you mean, si Donna?
Oo,
Ah.
I don't know.
Yeah, kasi
Hiding her from
she's
the public.
she's an introvert eh. She's really an
She's
introvert.
really an
ah.
introvert.
She really
Prefers.
she
This is her
she really
preference.
she really started working because there's a need to work before. Her dad is an OFW in Oman, so she wanted her dad back. So she started singing at an early age. Started singing by 7 or 8, diba?
Yeah.
So since she started working early, she really wanted to raise a family. That's why she married right away, diba?
Yeah.
At 21.
So she's really the more private person.
I actually have to force her to go out, to attend parties. Wala. She just likes to stay at home with the kids and travel with us. No? So, before the social media came out, it's really believable na parang prisoner siya. But with the social media na people can see her na every day, almost every day. So, it really dispelled a lot of rumors.
So aside from all these, targets, if you will, if I may call it that you have, what else do you want in life? Parang you have everything na. Your kids are going to follow your footsteps. You have a loving wife. You have a thriving practice. How many hospitals? 7. Ano pa?
Well, my goal is for my kids also to be doctors also, and then see to it that they're successful. Help them in any way, like my dad helped me get started. No? My dad bought all my equipment. No? That's one thing na, my parents helped me a lot with.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, otherwise you wouldn't be able to afford to bring.
No, you cannot.
Pero you borrowed money, or was that a
No,
gift?
No, it's a gift.
Ah.
Yun lang. He didn't, basta anything na like books, no, for medicine,
Okay.
and then instruments for your practice. He will, all out siya. Wala siya. But yung luho, like branded na cars, branded clothes, wala. No, you save money, you buy your branded shirt, jacket, or anything. Anything maluho, ayaw niya. Pero if it's for your career, it'll help your life, he's all out.
Kaya pala, you're also kind of rewarding yourself with the luho. Diba? Kasi, I mean, this is a product of your hard work.
Yeah.
Because you were deprived.
Also, yeah. Because if you have everything at a young age, there's nothing to, di ba?
Yeah. So good na lang din, no?
Yeah.
Kasi dati mga drawing lang ang kotse. Ngayon, nasa garahe mo na.
I still enjoy driving, but it's not a priority anymore.
Yeah.
Priority is more now is bigger, helping more people, putting more hospitals, providing services that's available in first world countries, bring them here. No?
Hospitals can be also a big business, a money maker. In fact, one of the tycoons, diba, has been buying hospitals left and right, intending to make a big chain, I suppose, or a network.
Yeah,
Do you plan that?
I met with a few of them already because, of
So
course,
I'm
they wanted
sure
to
they wanted to
partner.
buy you, to buy this.
Yeah, my dad and then me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, of course, there's always these talks, no. But yeah, my goal is to make our own network, no, for our future generations, as far as the Larrazabals are concerned.
But not necessarily to be publicly listed to have
No,
that.
I
You don't need the capitalization.
At this point in time, no. The good thing about my dad, when he passed, he left us with a lot of savings for the hospitals and the school, the university. No, there were no debts at all, zero as far as debts are concerned.
Plus capital to be able to expand.
Yes, capital to build 4 more hospitals if I want to. But I'm doing gradually. I'm not touching our savings. Whatever I'm making now is from the money that we generate. My dad was very thrifty. He only went.
Tihi?
Yeah,
Tihi ba?
tihi kayo. He started going to business class already in the mid-50s na. He passed away never experiencing first class. Yeah, and then there was even a time he traveled with my mom and then my aunt and uncle. They were in the US, no? They were waiting for their flight back here, no? So the announcers start announcing the flight is full. Anyone willing to give up their business class, $500 plus an extra ticket, no? Then nobody took. 1,500 and until $2,000. He and my uncle, they sold their ticket for the cash and a round trip, and then he wrote economy. That's how he was.
That's how he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. When do you plan on finishing your 100th marathon?
Probably between 3 to 4 years, I'll be done with that. The most I've done in a year was 10. But I did the 7 marathons in 7 days, so kaya pala. The first and only at this point, yeah. It's tough because it's 7 marathons in 7 continents. So you don't sleep. You sleep in the plane, actually. You land, you run, they bring you back to the airport, you fly again, then you run again once you land.
What a crazy thing to do.
Yeah.
No wonder isa lang gumagawa. I didn't ask about the pandemic, but so now's the chance. What lessons did you learn from that? And what can you apply having passed through that very, very difficult period? You were the first to have to be vaccinated, no, here?
Yes.
Yeah.
We did a lot of innovations as well during the pandemic. No? We were one of the first to create an ARID center. ARID center, in our gym, I made it an ARID center. Those with respiratory symptoms and diarrhea, everyone would be brought there because at that time there was no testing pa. We were the first in Cebu City to have the molecular lab, the PCR. And then we were one of the first who separated our ER into COVID ER, non-COVID. So, and my goal there, or my mantra there, was try your best not to turn away patients. Try your best to accept despite the limited staff at the time. And we also had this innovation, the first in the country, with Dr. Edgar Tan, our cardiologist, who did plasma transfusion and plasma exchange. No? There was no treatment at the time.
So you just thought that if those who recovered from COVID, their plasma can be used.
Yes. And then, but before we remove first their plasma with the cytokines, no? And then we transfuse the plasma with the antibodies already.
So you were innovating as
Yes.
As the pandemic was evolving.
Yes.
Yeah. But personally, I mean, it must have been tough for you as a doctor and seeing, not understanding also in the beginning what it was, right?
Since the lockdown, I was here every day. I never stayed at home. I was here every
So you
single
would
day.
not go home? Kasi
No, I
syempre-
mean, I come, but I do a test and then go home. Antigen at the time. But without the testing pa, I would stay in
You'd
a-
isolate yourself,
yes,
but still go home.
Still go home. And then, so I was always here. There was always things in my how to help more
Is that
people.
an emergency? Fire?
No, but it's testing.
Sure, ah?
Yeah, this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, it stops.
So,
Yeah.
continue.
So I was here always thinking of ways how to help people, because at that time we were running out of beds. At the same time, I realized how short life can be, because I've seen a lot of friends, uncles, relatives who passed away in COVID, especially in the first 6 months where we didn't know how to treat patients pa, and no vaccines were available at that time.
yeah. So that's why you're enjoying life the best you can.
Yeah, this year I try my best now to travel with my family. Like we did 3 trips already since December this year. And I always make sure I spend quality time with them. Because life can be taken from you anytime. That's what I realized.
That's what you realize. So hindi ka na kasing workaholic.
Yeah, workaholic pa rin, but I'll always allot time for your loved ones and what's important in your life. Don't get overburdened or, be consumed by your own work.
So that was the realization.
Yeah. Life is too short. Make peace with your enemies. Better to go without enemies. And of course, you have to be closer to your religion, God.
Dr. Yong Larrazabal runs the long race. Hindi siya nagmamadali at ang bawat hakbang ay planado. He is executing a well-thought-out plan as he takes the reins of the family business. Can one truly have it all? Apparently, yes. To never run out of steam, pace yourself. To never lose sight of your goal, focus on your vision. Mga aralin na nakuha natin sa kwento ni Dr. Yong Larrazabal III. Hanggang sa susunod nating pagkikita, ako po si Ces Orenia Drilon, dito lamang sa Usapang Bilyonaryo.